to our final film. Do we want to do a spoiler talk for this or no? Do you have enough to say spoiler-wise for this?
I don't.
I know that we're a little removed on it, but
yeah, I don't have a lot that needs spoilers to talk about now.
Okay, so we'll try to go over this as best we can without going into spoilers. But we are going to be talking about Project Hail Mary. Probably, I would say, the biggest movie that's come out this year so far. Probably the closest thing to a summer movie that we've gotten so far. We got Ryan Gosling, who's our boy. He's officially entered Movie Crusaders boy territory with Fall Guy and Nice Guys and everything. We're like, Gosling, you're one of us. Come hang out with us, kind of thing. We got like I said, it's kind of like I hate when people are saying it's The Martian. It's like it's not The Martian. Like I get the author of The Martian also wrote this book, but this is not The Martian. Like he's not trapped on fucking Mars. Like
they're similar only in that they kind of it's kind of the same tone, but it's also the whole let's science the shit out of this kind of thing, trying to science your way out of the problem. That's basically the only comparison. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna ask you this sidebar. I know you guys are here listening to this, but I want to, because either we're gonna talk about it and we're just gonna fucking talk about it, or we're gonna dance around this because we're not doing a spoiler. I know this one character is in a lot of the promo shit. Are we wanting to discuss this one character, or are we gonna try to dance around?
That's well known. They're using that in all the marketing right now.
So, okay, because a lot of other reviews, they've been dancing around Rocky.
I'd say go full spoiler. I think most people have seen this movie by now. Honestly.
Okay, then we'll talk about Rocky during the review. This will probably be a longer review. So, but I know some reviewers are like dancing around Rocky, like they didn't know. It's like I'm pretty sure the first
in
trailer,
all the marketing and the commercials and stuff now, especially. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the very first fucking trailer I saw had Rocky in it. So I don't know why everyone's hiding the fact that Rocky's in this movie. But yeah, basically the main plot is we're following, I don't remember his first name ever being in the movie, but it's Ryland Grace. Mm-hmm. He's called Grace throughout the entire fucking film, but it's played by Ryan Gosling. He's a middle school science teacher who basically is brought in to try to save the world because there's these oh god, what are they called? Not Astroglide. It's like Astro something. I was trying to get you to laugh, and there was too long of a delay for you to finally hear me. Astrophage is what it's called. I said it intentionally to try to get a rise out of you. It was too long. There's this astrophage that's basically going from like Venus to the sun. It's eating the sun, and it's basically going to eventually like starve the Earth. And so he's brought in to kind of like figure out a way to stop it or utilize the energy of it to basically try to save the world. He's supposed to go on this trip with these two other astronauts. He wakes up from his journey and the two astronauts are dead. Through the journey, they didn't survive, so he's now all alone on this spaceship, and he doesn't really remember why he's there because of the coma that he was in for the ship. So it's him trying to remember what happened leading up to him going onto the spacecraft, and then also trying to figure out a way to basically save the world. And then along the way, he meets a very special friend known as Rocky, who's an alien who's also trying to do the very same thing as Grace is, but for his planet. I guess that's like the best way I could explain it without going too deep into the fucking story.
Yeah, well, essentially what has happened is there's this thing eating away at the sun, and apparently it's happening like stars throughout the entire galaxy, and there's like one that's not being affected, and so they want to know why that one is not being affected. So they try to use that information to save our own, and so that's why they send him all the way out there, and that's the same thing Rocky's people have done because his planet's his sun is dying too. So he's there investigating the same sun. According to a friend of mine who read the book, he'd been there for years. Now the movie doesn't mention that, but he was definitely there before him. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because with him, he had a whole crew of his kind there, and they all died. He's the only survivor, much like Grace is. But Grace woke up and was just kind of like already on his way there. Whereas him, he had been there, but he had no way to, I guess, do what he needed to do. And then so they worked together to try to figure it out. But it's Lord and Miller, who we both love as directors, doing this. Drew Goddard, who I don't know how you feel about Drew Goddard. I love Drew Goddard.
Oh yeah.
But he's doing the screenplay, which he also did it for The Martian as well. Basically, for the most part, it's the Martian crew with Lord and Miller doing Project Hail Mary. But yeah, what were your thoughts of Project Hail Mary?
Yeah, no, I think this is kind of that perfect window that we love Ryan Gosling. Because I mean, I like him in Drive, and I like him in whatever, The Notebook, these movies. He's fine. He's a good actor. But I love him best when he's kind of the lovable doofus. Whether that's Nice Guys, whether that's The Fall Guy, whether that's even here. Now he's super intelligent. He's a molecular biologist.
I wouldn't call him a doofus. He's kind of a.
Well, no, in his personality and the way he acts, like especially when they're trying to recruit him, he's like, but not an astronaut. I'm not. He's just kind of that amusing guy to watch, and I like when he's kind of like that. Clearly, like I said, there's very intelligent. He's a molecular biologist who is become a science teacher instead. Apparently, he failed in his career. I don't know the details of that. That's something else that's apparently was covered in the book. Which apparently the first cut of this movie
they mentioned
3.5 hours long. So
they mentioned it in the movie what he did that got him like shunned.
So he's kind of forced in the situation. I did like the movie very much. I think that I like movies that are smart, but not so full of techno jargon and techno babble that you can't really follow along with it. This kind of there's a lot of
it teeters on the balance of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of intelligent talking and figuring things out, but at the same time, it's not so the normal person can't follow it or he just gets bored by this, glazes over listening to all this talk. I think it's very well done. I think the fact that you have essentially one cast member for the majority of this movie,
most part, yeah.
He does a phenomenal job, of course, and acting against Rocky, who is, from what I understand, about a 50-50 mix of practical puppet and CGI, but you couldn't tell me which scenes are which. I think it's just super well done. He definitely has a lot of personality to him. I'm sure he's going to become like just a marketing thing where they're going to put out like plush and all kinds of things of Rocky now because everybody loves little Rocky. At least he's not as annoying in Grogu, but I'll get into that again. But no, I did enjoy this movie. I think if they made one mistake, it was, why did you have to kill off Milana Vayntrub? Come on, let Ryan Gosling have her on the ship. Come on,
not even just her, but Ken Leung as well. I like him too. Couldn't we have kept them on for a little bit?
Yeah, we only get to see them basically in essentially. Well, I guess the beginning it's not flashbacks, but then you see them a little bit more.
But even then, they're so not even utilized in it. Like, if there's literally one actual.
I'm so happy to see, well, both of them, but especially her. I'm like, because she doesn't get a whole lot of like acting roles, and so I'm like, oh, good, she's in this movie. Like, oh wait, I already know what must be happening because it's mostly just Ryan Gosling.
She has like maybe 3 scenes in the movie total. Yeah, and it's so sad. Like, she's someone that we both love so much, and she does, like, we see her and they're like, oh yeah, she was only in it for like 2 minutes. Like, fuck, god damn. But continue.
I would say I think it does a very good job also of balancing kind of the comedy with the drama, which with Lord and Miller, I think that was always like a worry, is like, are they going to lean too far into the comedy? And I don't think they did. I think that it struck a really good balance, and I think that's because it was able to. It's not trying to be like it's not an action movie. It's not like a sci-fi movie in the way of like having space battles happening. It's just it's science fiction. It's scientific movie taking place in space, but it's essentially, I mean, this is practically a family movie. I mean, aside from probably some language or whatever, it's basically just Ryan Gosling out there solving this, and he's got Rocky there, and I think that it's all done very well. I think that they somehow manage to convince you to be emotional about moments, especially with this the rock, essentially. And so far this year, it's probably my favorite movie of the year. I mean, I have it at 4 stars, which I think it's excellent. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but I do think it's easily the best one I've seen so far this year, and it'll probably be in the top 10 by the time we hit the end of the year.
I was worried about the hype when I went and saw this, because I saw this on Friday last week, and I was already just hearing overwhelmingly like positive for this movie.
See, I think some of these reports are a little over the top, but I did enjoy it quite a bit.
And then I got I heard one review that was basically being negative about it, and they called it this, and I was like, and granted, I listened to this after I watched the movie, so like I already had the movie in my head, but they said this, and they said it like a dig, and I was like, no, that's pretty spot on, but that's not a dig to me. And they said that basically it's a live action Pixar movie, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. But you're saying that like that's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Like, if anything, you somehow found a way to make Pixar live action, and it fucking worked. Because I am in agreement with you. This is hands down the best film of the year. It will probably be in my top 10 by year's end. Who knows where in the top 10. I fucking loved this film. Ryan Gosling, this movie could have so like, because he, for the most part, is by himself. Now, granted, he gets flashback scenes where he gets to work opposite, like Sandra Hüller and, oh god, what is his buddy's name? The agent, the Carl.
I don't recall it, man.
I don't know, but even their little relationship that we got in the earlier part of the movie was great. But he gets all these moments where it's like, yeah, it's him just kind of making quips and kind of being a little bitch and like going, when he gets freaked out over little things like the gravity going away and stuff. But then he has these moments where like Rocky offers him fuel to go home, and Gosling takes this moment and manages to like add all this emotion into the scene for his character that made me fucking feel. Like, I felt what Gosling was feeling at that moment. And then even the emotional scenes with Rocky later on in the film, I was like, oh my god, how is this working? Like, this shouldn't be working, but it is. Like, I feel so like worried about Rocky at certain points in this film, and for Grace, and like I got emotional in this, and I'm like, holy crap, this movie is really fucking like working, and I commend Gosling for that, because you can see guys work against a puppet or a CG character, and you can just tell they're acting, but they're pretending that something's there. I bought that Gosling was fully having a conversation with Rocky, and Rocky vice versa back with Gosling. You know, it's like I bought into their relationship. I bought into their conversations. I felt that when Rocky was next to Gosling, that there was somebody next to Gosling. Like, kind of like how when they did Guardians, like Rocket was next to Star-Lord. You know, they actually had, you know, Sean Gunn right there next to Chris Pratt. Like, I bought that he was actually talking to a physical person. Rocky could have just been a cutesy character like a Grogu, which I don't hate Grogu like Brian does, but he could have just been a cutesy character. But Rocky is a great character on his own, and they managed to take a character which he's like a rock tarantula, which, you know me, I fucking hate spiders, but like he doesn't really have a fucking face, and you managed to give so much character to a rock and layers of this character, and you made it fucking work. And then you have these amazingly beautiful shot scenes of like when they find the star Adrian, and that scene is amazing. You know, it's such a gorgeous looking scene. And if you guys can see this in IMAX, fucking go see this in IMAX. I didn't, and the whole time I'm going, this would look amazing in IMAX. I was like, envy this, because I'm sure Brian got to see this in IMAX. But I love the structure of this. I love that it took time to slow down, and it didn't feel like it had to dumb people down with its smart talk. I heard that the book is way more scientific heavy, which maybe I'll read the book someday. But I heard that it's like I remember as soon as the movie ended, the guy sitting behind me got up and he goes, it's not as good as the book, but it's damn near close. And I'm like, okay, random stranger who just decided to tell me that and then walk away, but okay. And then someone I work with, she read the book and she was like, the book's still better, but this was still very good. And I went and saw it a second time the next day. But this is to me, the first movie, granted it's only March, but this is the first movie that I can think of right now recently where I'm like, this is a movie made for theaters. A lot of people are going, why is there a reason to go to theaters? Well, you go to see Marvel, you go to see Avatar. This movie was like, this is why you go to a theater, for these kinds of films. This is a beautifully well done film. It's gorgeous. It's incredibly well acted, more times than not, just by one fucking person, because it's a lot of times just Gosling just having to do his own thing. And it's not a perfect movie, like you said, and a lot of that's because Milana didn't get her fucking due. But it's so close to being 5 stars for me. It's not. I gave it 4.5, but it was so close to being 5 stars. I think if I have to find negatives, it's one of those things where it's like I'm looking for a reason to not give it 5 stars. First off, Milana not being used. It did get a little bit Return of the King at the end, where it had like 3 different endings, and it just kind of like kept going. It kept going, but that was the thing too. Is like I almost like, even when it was ending, I was like, I wasn't ready to say goodbye to these characters either.
Well, my thing was at the end, I was like getting to the point where I'm like, well, what about this? And so when I did, oh, that's where they're going with that. Well, what happens to this? Oh, I see. Okay, that is.
Well, because like there was certain points where I was like, I wasn't ready to say goodbye to Grace and Rocky, but then also I was like, well, how are they going to do this? Are they going to do it this way? Because if they do this, like, I don't know how I'm going to feel if they do it this way. And they're like, okay, well, they're going to go this way. Well, okay, but I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. And they go, okay, look, we're going to cover it. Like, calm down and wait. And then you got to that end. You're like, I'm satisfied with where it was. I wish this wasn't the end of the story. I wish we could see these guys again. And I'll only be able to do it in terms of rewatch. But I absolutely loved this film. And there's still so many great films, supposed great films, left to come out this year. But this one, much like Sinners was, that came out right around the same time last year, this is going to be a very hard film to beat. More for me, because I gave it 4.5. Brian only gave it 4 stars, so it's going to not be that hard for Brian's movies to pass a 4-star rated film for Brian. But for me, this is a movie that is going to be hard to overcome coming into the summer and through the years. This is definitely going to be in my end of year list. If it's not, holy crap, we got a great year coming. Because as soon as this movie ended, I was like, well, this is definitely number 1 right now. I would be shocked if this movie was not in my top 6 by year's end. If it is in the bottom of my 10 or off my 10, holy crap, I can't wait to see what's going to top this. I loved this movie that much. But yeah, anything else you want to add for Project Hail Mary?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay. A little bit spoilery, but we didn't really give too much away. So if you guys we really didn't. But let us know what your guys' thoughts were. Did you guys watch any of these movies already? If you guys did, what were your thoughts? What were your reviews on them? Let us know in the comments below. Or what were your thoughts on all these trailers that we talked about? Let us know. Next week, we got Super Mario Galaxy. I know Brian's probably not going to check that out. I definitely will, because they also announced that fucking Star Fox is going to be in it. And fuck yeah. And did you hear who's playing Star Fox?
Glenn
Powell. So hell yeah. I have more reason to go see Mario. But we are entering that part of the year where we're not quite at summer, but we're starting to get like, all right, we're actually getting some fucking movies now. And obviously we talked about some of them here in the trailers. Like Balls Up will be out here in like 3 weeks. When I'm sure we're going to talk about that in some form or fashion. In some way it's going to be talked about. But yeah, let us know what you guys thought of the trailers and the reviews here. Like I said, I'm going to keep saying this every episode now until it starts breaking into everyone's heads. We are also on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music now. So if you guys can't watch us, you guys can listen to us now. Don't forget to give us our 5-star ratings on there. Also, obviously, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. And like I said, if we did not shoot a review of a movie that just came out, check our Letterboxd. Brian probably wrote a review for it, or I wrote a review for it, because we can't just talk about every movie on here. Because, like we said at the beginning of the video, we're having a hard time getting together because of my schedule and Brian's schedule not clashing. So there are times where we are seeing everything for the most part. We're just not able to talk about it like we are right now. So we just do written reviews. So follow us on the Letterboxd, and you guys can see our thoughts are on. I think we're both over 30 films this year already watched. So there's plenty of stuff for us that we've written down. So check out all that. I should be back here next week for Mario. Brian will not because Brian won't watch it. I don't
may be
know
doing something though, because next weekend I'm going to be attending Beyond Fest in Chicago.
Yes.
Where I'm going to get to see some early screenings of everything from Normal, The Furious, which I know we're excited about. We call One Spoon of Chocolate. I might see Over My Dead Body, which is the Jason Segel one. There's a few others. So I may be doing like kind of a wrap up video, just kind of giving my brief thoughts on some of those movies I saw. But yeah, I will not.
Which is where I will sit here going, please tell me these are good because I can't wait to see these. And then it's going to be like 2 months later. And Brian's going to be like, yeah, I know. Watched it like last 2 months ago. I'm like, shut up, Brian. Not everyone lives in a place
actually,
where you get
I will say I'm actually a little disappointed because I never get to go to these film festivals where they see these movies like months early or a year early or something like that. So I'm like, finally I get to go to one of these because they started one in Chicago. And then like they started announcing release dates for all these movies that all come out in like the next month. I'm like, come on.
We were going to talk about the trailer for The Furious because it's a movie that literally is like The Night Comes for Us, which is a movie that we talk about ad nauseum when it comes to award shows. But Brian's like, I'm about to go see that next week, so I did not watch the trailer. And I'm like, okay, then we're not going to talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything for you because you're about to go see it. And now I'm jealous as shit because I want to see it. And I don't think it comes out until like May. I think it's like May 19th now. But that also means it's May 19th. It's probably not going to be out where I'm at. So even though it's out, I still probably won't be able to see it where I'm at compared to where Brian is at. So I'll have to probably wait even fucking longer to see that movie. But yeah, he just named like 4 or 5 movies that are on my list of shit that I want to watch that I don't know. Like Over My Dead Body, I definitely want to see that. Normal, I want to see. Obviously, The Furious, I want to see. So yeah, if Brian wants to, I'll hop on here and he'll give his reviews for everything he saw at the festival, and I'll just kind of sit here and ask questions and go from there. And then obviously I'll shoot a review for Super Mario Galaxy. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, comment, let us know what your thoughts are of everything we talked about. And yeah, go see these movies. Like I said, I don't think there was a single one of these review that we actually didn't like. I think all of them were like either okay or really good or best of the year in terms of Project Hail Mary. So there's plenty of you guys to go out and check out. There's a lot of good shit out there. Or Hulu, go see Mike and Nick and Alice. Fucking hate that title, but it was a great fucking movie in my eyes. But we are the Movie Crusaders. I'm Sean Wascrew. That is Brian Michaels. And until next time, in case we don't see you, go watch some movies and go have some fun.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.